Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Hot Girls Eat Carbs. I am so glad you're here today, whether you're out on a walk, driving home from work, or whether you're just doing nothing. Welcome. So let's give a little life update before we get into it. I'm still in New Zealand at the moment and I've just gotten back into full swing of work, which honestly feels so amazing. I feel like I'm getting grounded again. I started working out regularly again, which is such a big shift because for a while there, I couldn't even think about moving my body because after my dad passed away, I physically could not get myself out that door. But lately I've been feeling a lot better and I've been pouring a lot of my energy into work and also into content as well. And it's been really fun. Like, I'm actually really enjoying it. It's just been a nice way to reconnect with myself again. And we're heading over to Melbourne tomorrow for a week to spend some quality time with Josh's family, which will be so nice. And then finally, I'll be heading back to Koh Samui, which I am so excited for. I feel like I have been away forever and I can't wait to get back into the heat and the sunshine because it's really cold here in New Zealand and it's also just as cold in Melbourne. So it's going to be so good. But anyway, let's talk about today's episode because it's something that I think everyone struggles with in their journey and it's something that I also struggled with. If the scale's been stuck and your motivation's dipping or you're secretly wondering if you should just give up, this is your sign to pause. I want you to take a deep breath and I want you to listen because today I am spilling the truth about plateaus, why they happen, and why they don't mean failure, and what you can actually do about it. I just want to start with a story. When I was deep in my own weight loss journey, there was a phase and it lasted for about 4 months where the scale would not budge. I was doing everything right, tracking my food, hitting my steps, I was training hard, and still nothing. I kept stepping on the scale like it owed me something. And every single time I saw the same number, it felt like a punch to my gut. And I would tear myself apart and wondering what I was doing wrong. I was literally blaming everything in my life. I was blaming my genetics, just everything. And I just thought that I was just like not meant to be successful in my weight loss journey. I was going to stay the same for the rest of my life. But the one thing that I didn't do is that I didn't give up. And I am so glad from the amount of meltdowns that I had and that I wanted to give up. I kept pushing and I kept standing up every single time I told myself that I can't do this and that I'm going to give up. I didn't, and I kept pushing forward. Even though the number wasn't moving, other parts of my life actually were because I was lifting heavier, my clothes were fitting looser, and I was waking up with more energy and not feeling so drained all the time. And when you step on the scale, sometimes you don't think about those things and you just think about that number. But when you actually step back and realize how much in your life is actually changing, that is when you actually realize that there are so many different parts to it and the scale doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I actually call it the sad step because it has the power to ruin your whole mood if you let it. And I know that feeling when the scale decides whether you want to eat breakfast or whether you feel proud of your progress or whether you're going to head into like a full spiral moment and completely go off the rails because you just don't think it's working. I've lived it many times and I see my clients living it. And I'm here to tell you that it does not need to be that way. Today, we're going to be talking about why the scale might be staying the same, what progress actually looks like, and how to break free from the plateau mindset so you can keep moving towards the best and the hottest version of yourself. And babe, if this podcast has given you any value or made you feel seen or just helped you shift your mindset a little bit, please could you share it with a friend, or if you could leave the show a review. It means so much to me because it helps the space grow more than you know. Okay, let's get into it. I know how frustrating it is when the scale won't budge. You're showing up, you're putting in the effort, you're tracking, training, walking, eating well, and it feels like nothing is changing. And when that happens, it is so easy to start second guessing everything. Am I doing something wrong? Is my body just being difficult? Is this even working anymore? But the thing is, plateaus aren't a sign that it's not working. They're a sign that your body's adjusting and that it's trying to find a new normal. And more often than not, it actually is working. It's just not in the way that you actually expected. Because sometimes progress is subtle. It's not in the numbers. It's in your energy, your mood, your strength, your sleep. But because we've been so trained to believe that progress only counts if the scale drops, we miss everything else that's actually changing. I want to break it down for you, and here are the real reasons why progress slows down and why that doesn't mean that you're failing. Your body is adapting, and that's actually what it's meant to do. This is actually one of the biggest ones. When you start changing your routine, eating less, moving more, and training differently, your body takes that all in. And at first, it responds fast. But over time, it does start to adjust and it becomes more efficient with your energy. You might burn fewer calories doing the same workout, and your metabolism starts protecting you because your body's designed to keep you safe, not shredded. And this actually isn't a bad thing. It means that you've just reached a new baseline. You've made changes and now your body's learning how to maintain them. That's actually a win, and it's not the end. It's just time to pivot slightly. When I say pivot, I don't mean overhaul your whole routine or panic and drop your calories super low again. I mean zoom out and reassess the little things. I want you to ask yourself, have your steps dropped a little bit lately? Are you still tracking meals as consistently as when you started? Are you still challenging yourself in your workouts, or have you been going through the motions? Has your stress been higher, or has your sleep taken a hit? Because a pivot can be as simple as adding 2,000 to 3,000 more steps a day. Your body adapts to how much movement you're getting in, so you need to increase it slowly when things start to stall. Getting back into pre-logging your meals or tightening up your portions. Switching your workouts from 3 full body sessions to an upper and a lower split for more intensity. Taking 2 to 3 nights a week to wind down earlier and focus on better sleep. Lastly, look at your calorie intake. If you're doing everything right, I'd suggest dropping your calories slightly by 100 calories per day. And remember, it's not about doing more. It's just all about being intentional. Because when you've been consistent for a while, your routine becomes your normal. And sometimes your body needs a new little challenge. And it's a reminder that it's time to level up. That's what pivoting means. Small tweaks that reignite your progress without you burning out. Another thing is that you're retaining water, and that's completely normal. I want to talk about water weight because this one trips up so many people, and it's one of the biggest reasons people think that they've suddenly gained fat overnight when that is not the case at all. Your body weight can fluctuate a lot from day to day, and most of this has nothing to do with fat gain. You can be in a calorie deficit, doing everything right, and wake up heavier the next morning. That doesn't mean that what you're doing isn't working. It means that your body is holding on to more water. And that is it. And water retention can be triggered by a bunch of totally normal things. One like where you are in your cycle, a salty meal the night before, a tough strength workout, especially if you're sore, higher stress levels, a bad night's sleep, traveling, flying, or even just sitting more than usual. If you ever lose weight one day and then gain it back the next, this is not fat gain. Your body can't gain real body fat overnight unless you've eaten thousands and thousands of extra calories, which is honestly not what is happening for most people. What is happening is that you've had more carbs, more salt, maybe a bit more inflammation, or even just hormonal changes, and your body is holding on to a bit more water. And this is especially true if you're lifting weights. When you train hard, you create little micro tears in your muscles. And as your body repairs and rebuilds them, it holds on to water as part of the muscle recovery. So when you're feeling sore and the scale is up, that is literally your body getting stronger. It's not gaining fat. This is why obsessing over the number every single day can do more harm than good. Because 1 week of the scale staying the same, or even going up slightly, does not mean that you've stalled. You could be dropping fat steadily and not seeing it reflect yet because of all of these natural fluctuations. But the best thing that you can do is zoom out. Track your progress weekly or fortnightly, not daily, and look at how your clothes fit, how your body feels, how strong you're getting, because water weight is temporary and fat loss is what lasts. And that's what happens when you keep showing up regardless of what the scale says. Your stress and sleep habits are messing with your hormones. This is one of those things that people overlook, but it can change everything. And if you're constantly stressed or you're barely sleeping, your body holds on to fat more easily. Cortisol goes up, Hunger signals get louder, cravings creep in, and progress slows, even if your food and training are on point. So before you cut your calories again, ask yourself, am I actually giving my body the rest and recovery it needs to function properly? Sometimes what you need isn't to do more, it's just actually to recover better. Your calorie needs have changed, or tracking isn't as tight as it used to be. As you lose weight, your body doesn't need as much energy to run. If you're eating the same amount as you did at the start, it may no longer be enough of a deficit to see fat loss. And sometimes it's just little things creeping back in. A few bites here or there, a splash more of olive oil, weekends where you eyeball instead of log. It's not failure, it's just a part of life. But it's worth checking in on your habits if you've stalled for more than a few weeks. You've built muscle while losing fat, and the scale doesn't know how to measure that. This is my favorite kind of plateau. When you've been lifting weights, eating enough protein, being consistent, it is so common to gain muscle while losing fat at the same time. The scale might stay the same, but your body composition is changing. Your clothes fit differently, and you look leaner, more toned, and stronger. This is why I always tell my clients, track more than just your weight. And the scale isn't the main form of measurement. Here's actually what matters more. I'm going to say it loud and clear again. The scale is not the most important tool on your journey. Can it be useful? Yes. It gives us some data over time. But is it the only or even the most reliable measure of progress? Absolutely not. Because here's the thing. The scale only tells you your relationship to gravity. That is it. It doesn't tell you how much fat you've lost, or how much muscle you've gained, or how strong you're becoming, or how your habits have evolved. And when you put all of your focus on that one number, you miss the bigger picture. And so, what actually matters? What should you really be tracking? Progress photos. So what actually matters, and what should you really be tracking? Progress photos. Progress photos don't lie, and unlike the scale, they show you visual changes in your body composition. Sometimes the number won't move at all, but your shape will completely change. You'll see definition in your arms, your waist will look tighter, your posture will improve. That's fat loss. That's progress, and the scale won't always reflect that. Measurements. Take measurements around your waist, hips, thighs, chest, even if it's just once a month. This gives you a clear idea of what's actually happening in your body. You might lose centimeters even when the scale stays the same, especially if you're building muscle and dropping fat at the same time. How your clothes fit. This one is underrated but so powerful. When I was going through my weight loss journey and I was on my 4-month stall, I really loved these pair of jeans. I went into the changing room, I tried them on, and they were too tight for me, but they almost fit. And I said to myself, you know what? These are going to be my goal jeans because I love them. So I brought them, and every single week I would try these jeans on, and slowly but surely they were fitting me better until they actually ended up being too big. And it's these moments when your jeans slide on easier, when your bra feels less tight, when a dress you used to avoid suddenly feels good again. This is real, tangible progress. And it feels better than any number could. And more importantly, how you feel. Energy, confidence, strength, sleep, digestion, mood. These are all things that actually change your life. If you're waking up with more energy, feeling proud of how you're showing up, feeling lighter on your feet, stronger in the gym, less obsessed with food, that is what actually matters. This is the kind of progress that sticks, and no scale can measure that. So if you're stepping on the scale every day and letting it decide how you feel about yourself, it might be time to step back because your body is not a number and your worth isn't up for debate depending on what shows on that screen. Start looking at the full picture because chances are you're making way more progress than you actually think. It's easy to spiral when the scale doesn't move. You start thinking it's not working, that you're wasting your time, that maybe you should just give up and start again on Monday. But the truth is you're not stuck. You're reinforcing habits, you're creating a new baseline, and you're laying down foundations that actually last. And sometimes that looks like a plateau. Sometimes that looks like maintenance. And sometimes that looks like nothing is changing until everything does. The biggest transformations don't happen when things are going perfectly. They happen when you keep showing up, even when it's not glamorous, even when the scale is stubborn, and even when the motivation is low. That is where the real shift happens, mentally and physically. So here are some action steps to break through a plateau without burning out. And if you're ready to get things moving again, here's where to start. I want you to audit your habits, not your worth. Recheck your step count, your food consistently, your sleep and stress, and be honest, not judgmental. I want you to focus on more than just fat loss. Can you get stronger in the gym? Can you improve your digestion, your mindset, your sleep? Give yourself more ways to win. Take a deload or maintenance week. Sometimes giving your body a rest from dieting helps it reset. Eating at maintenance, training a little lighter, and prioritizing recovery can actually reignite fat loss. Tweak your plan and don't tear it up. You don't need a new program. You just might need a fresh challenge, like increasing your protein, adding a new workout style, or shifting your training split. Track other forms of progress weekly. Photos, measurements, clothes, mood, strength, and collect real data, not just from a number on the scale. Because girl, you're learning how to build a lifestyle that actually works for you, and that doesn't happen overnight. So if you've been feeling stuck, just know that I have been there too. And the only reason I made it through those plateaus is because I didn't quit. I pivoted, I reflected, and I trusted the process. And I let my habits carry me through when motivation didn't. And that's what I want for you too. So if this episode gave you that little spark, if it reminded you that you're not alone and that slow progress is still progress, please share it with a friend or leave me a quick review. It really does mean so much more to help the space grow. And if you're ready to stop doing this on your own, if you want guidance, accountability, and a plan that's actually built for you, I've got spots open inside my one-on-one coaching. We'll create personalized meal plans and workout plans and break through those mindset blocks keeping you stuck and build a routine that finally feels good. You can apply through the link in the show notes or DM me the word coaching on Instagram and I'll send you all the info. Have a great week, ladies, and I will see you in the next episode.